We're your hosts, Matthew
and Nathan.
and welcome to
Kicking the Pricks.
There are people and there's ideologies. And in all of the things that are going on, 2020 is a weird year, but I don't think it's any more weird than 2019 or 2018 was, in that there's a lot of stuff that was more under the surface than it's like 2020. It's like you shine a light in a room and you find out it's disgusting.
Right.
Is it the light's fault or is it not? No, it's not the light's fault. It just exposes everything that was already there. And election years tend to do that. Tempers kind of rise to the surface and start to flare up more and more. So when I talk about this, at least from my side of it, and you can agree or disagree with me, but I like to think and talk more to the ideologies, not the people, because I believe people can change ideologies. People can agree or disagree throughout their lives. They can transform back and forth, or they can assess things and figure out what's right and what's wrong.
Wait, hold on. Okay, don't you mean that you want to try to get around the ideology to the person, or do you mean like, are you talking about when you're attacking?
Right,
the ideas. You're not attacking the person, right? You're attacking the ideas.
Right.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I am
like
hesitant to condemn a person, but I am less hesitant to condemn an ideology.
Right.
In ideology, you can weigh its fruits a lot easier than a person, because you know your inner thoughts a lot more than I do.
Right.
Now, I am much more acquainted with the thoughts that I never put out into the world, right? And so I can judge those things on myself better than I can judge for you or for you as a listener or anyone else. I don't know the hidden thoughts of Joe Biden. Right.
Well, I don't think Joe Biden knows the hidden thoughts of Joe Biden.
That is true.
Joe Biden doesn't know the outspoken thoughts of Joe Biden.
And I would say I don't know the hidden thoughts of Donald Trump, but it seems like Twitter knows his.
I think he just.
Those are not the best examples.
He just ejaculates every statement that comes into his head. It seems like so.
But that being said, any person who's listening to our show here is essentially gonna be able to relate to that. It's like, you know your inner thoughts more than you know anybody else's. Right. So that being said, that's why I'm very slow to condemn a person. I'm much more comfortable condemning an ideology, because you can weigh that out a lot better, especially as we converse and we talk through things out loud.
Right.
And so, and I know you and I have thought through a lot of our stuff, and we essentially stand by what we believe, but we also are more than willing to have our minds changed about things in open dialogue, and if something actually weighs out and has better.
Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it? Because I'm finding myself on social media getting attacked a whole lot personally rather than by the ideas I hold. And even some of the smartest people that I know, who I'm seriously questioning, I won't say that. But no, I will say that. Actually, I'm seriously questioning the intelligence of some of these people now, who I thought were very, I mean, these are people of supreme intellects at times, who say things that I know that either they can't possibly believe, or that's just how strong an ideological possession is, that even some of the most brilliant people can be a slave to it.
Right.
And then not only that, but be able to attack you because you disagree with them. Here's the problem. If I say something that is baseless or outlandish or refutable in some way, you ought to be able to convince me. I'm actually a pretty reasonable person. I don't hate you, even though you get on my nerves, you ridiculous fools. But anyway.
Nobody in particular.
No one in particular. Maybe one. Or two. Oh, two. At least two. Or 10. Or 1,000. But anyway, I've noticed that, yes, you're right. Generally, when we try to have discussions with these people, or even arguments, you could say, which I'm fine, I'll argue with you, it's okay. I don't think arguing is not a bad thing. It's just these ad hominem attacks and these straw men that the left like to build to try to tear down. They're real impressed with themselves when they beat up a scarecrow, you know, because while you're standing over here going, well, that's not even what I'm talking about. What do you guys mean?
Now, you mentioned something real quick. I want to make sure we can clarify that.
Oh, okay.
The straw man. There's this idea. It's called the straw man fallacy, especially when it comes to when you're comparing ideas and trying to find which ones are better or which ones, or like I said, are better for some situations or whatever the case. The straw man fallacy. Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, first I want to clarify that because I don't think I landed the plane very well on that one. So my point is, when we have these discussions, I would like if we could all, on both sides, okay, both sides, or even if maybe you don't consider yourself having a side, maybe you're in the middle or something. I think most people that say they don't have a side are actually kind of being a little bit disingenuous. We'll talk about that maybe on another episode. But if both sides could just realize that we're all humans, we're all people, and some of us have different ideas, and we can be persuaded, maybe, because that's what I was getting to, sorry. Okay. I could be persuaded, okay? If you could actually explain why the merits of my ideas are bad. But if your presupposition is that I am some sort of bigot, racist, homophobe, xenophobe, Islamophobe, sexist, patriarchal, what else? Did I say homophobe?
You did.
Oh, yeah. They hit you with all the phobes and isms, right? Out of the gate, without even knowing anything about you or who you are or what you actually believe. Or sometimes, here's what's worse. Sometimes they do. And that's the one that really pisses me off, okay? The one who knows good and well that I'm not some sort of hateful person, but you're going to attack me anyway because you've put me in this box where you've presupposed, because you've fallen for this lie that all conservatives or Christians or whatever you want to call us, people who lean right, however you want to define it, are just these evil people. So you attack thinking that you're righteous somehow. It makes you feel good. I know, it's great. You get this high out of it. It's nice. Like, you're in the battle. You're the hero, and I'm just the villain over here that you're eviscerating with your, because what really you're not, because you're attacking a straw man because you're foolish. Yeah. But anyway, I can be convinced. Just like talk to me about why my ideas are bad and help me find criticism without alternative is meaningless. Give me a better idea if mine suck.
Right. So you like to battle ideas, not people.
Right? I do.
So let's so I feel like you definitely had a good response there.
We were defining straw man.
Right. So we're going to define straw man a little bit. Do you want to take a crack at that? Or?
Yes, I don't have like the dictionary definition, but this is about right. So a straw man is basically when you take your opponent's, you're in an argument or a debate, and you take your opponent's position and you make a caricature of it. Like you twist it into something that they're not actually saying, and then you attack that thing. So it's like building a straw man. So you build a straw man out of their argument, which is something that's easy to demolish, and then you torch it with a flamethrower, while your opponent is actually just standing on another hill going, that's not even me. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
So I got the definition pulled up here. The straw man, an intentionally misrepresented proposition that is set up because it's easier to defeat than an opponent's real argument.
Yeah, mine sounded much better, but whatever.
Of course it does, Nate. But like you said, the idea of a straw man, and it's worth taking a little bit of time to define that.
Yes, and research logical fallacies. Sorry, I didn't mean to walk on you. Yeah, research logical fallacies. Seriously.
But the point again with a straw man, and it's not beneficial for anybody. It does give you that little bit of adrenaline push that you get when you feel intellectually or morally superior than the other person, and nobody is really immune to that. But the idea is...
fair enough.
So, for example, let's think of a straw man that people generally on the right would do when it comes to abortion. Well, you just want to kill babies.
Right.
Well, that's not, especially when it comes to the mothers, that's not necessarily true. That's not fair of an argument. Now, we do believe that those are babies and they are dying, so it's a little bit disingenuous, a little straw man-y to just assume that every woman who has an abortion is just excited to kill their baby. I don't think that's a fair argument.
Not of every woman, though. But the way that a few of the extreme ones showboat it is kind of odd.
The extreme,
but yes, you're right.
There's going to be extremes on every side of everything.
Yes.
The point of what we're saying is when we have arguments or disagreements or debates or any type of conversation, look out for the straw man fallacy. Look out for somebody who's just making a caricature of your argument and striking it down. And doubly important is make sure that you're not doing that either. Make sure that you are not making a straw man out of the opposition, but don't just make a straw man out of it. In fact, some of the best writers and some of the best thinkers throughout history have done the opposite. I don't think there's a technical definition, but essentially the opposite of a straw man would be a steel man. And so, like I said, some of the best authors and thinkers who would try to think through and process the problems of their day would essentially steelman the argument for the opposition. They would make the best argument for the opposition. I mean, give it every single bit of benefit, every benefit of the doubt, every strength of argument, and then they would combat that and with what they actually believed, and then we would weigh those up and see what that is. And so that's something that I aspire to do.
That's good. Actually, on that subject, I could make, this is the truth now. I'm pro-life, and I'm telling you right now, this is not hyperbole. I'm serious. I could make a better case for abortion than most of the people that I hear making the pro-choice argument. We may do that experiment one day just to see how it goes.
Or maybe one day I'll just put you on the spot.
Yeah, just put a little note. Yeah, put a little note. Right, but I'm telling you that the way you guys sound sometimes is that, and criticizing us for being anti-science while you ignore the science of biology and reproduction. Anyway, I can make a better case for abortion than some of you do. So it's possible. I haven't talked myself out of the pro-life position though. Ad hominem, that's against the man. So that's basically when you just attack somebody personally, it has nothing to do with the argument. Okay, so
simple.
You're a bad person, you suck. Go ahead.
So what I reinforce that, again from my perspective, is I'd much rather attack the ideology than the person. Like I said, ad hominem. I don't want to do the ad hominem. I don't want to engage in that. I'd much rather talk about the ideology, which ideas are better.